So welcome to another video from theplayersaid.com. My name's Alexander.
And I'm Grant.
And we're here at Buckeye Game Fest 2024. And we're sat down with the very famous and very prolific designer Hermann Luttmann.
And an all-around good guy.
Yes.
Frankly.
According to some.
And you guys are great guys as well.
So today we're going to kind of go through, talk about some different designs that are on the horizon, some things that are currently releasing. We also have here on our table an upcoming design, which is part of a new series called Tattered Flags, which is being published by Blue Panther, which is an American Civil War tactical series game. So we appreciate you sitting down with us, and let's kind of dive on in, and we can start with this and let us know what we got going on.
Thank you for having me. This is actually, it's a new series, but it's actually based on an old series, based on my very first game designed for Victory Point Games, 12 years ago or so? Gettysburg, the Wheat Field, and this is a reimagining of that original game. As I don't know if you can see or not, but we have new artwork and a new presentation as far as the map goes. It's not a free-form map like a miniatures map. This actually has little spaces on it, 8-pointed star spaces that will guide movement and facing.
So these, in essence, serve as the hexes without having hexes on the board.
Correct.
It's very unique. I thought it was very cool when I first sat down and thought, ooh, that's kind of nifty.
Very striking when you
So-
first look at it, and it looks quite different, the map style at least as
Right.
well.
But I know from the first game, a lot of people felt a little lost with the whole miniatures, free movement, rulers, and arcing flanks and all that kind of thing. That I thought that we just needed a little bit more guidance as far as where units go and how they face. The interesting side effect, which I didn't realize at the time that I designed this, is that it actually cut out like 4 pages of rules because I didn't have to come up with all these formation rules and how these formations are formed and what they can do. You actually form your own formations as you move these individual pieces, because one of the rules for unit cohesion is that every piece must be adjacent to another piece of this regiment when you're done moving.
Oh, okay.
So you effectively design your own refused flanks, or however you want to do it, as long as that cohesion is kept. If it's not kept, then the unit has to take a panic check.
Okay.
Where the regimental colonels basically say, no, we're too disordered, come back, and reform. So it was a nice side effect, and it actually made the game easier.
Nice.
I think the one thing that we also you immediately walk up to this game is got these nice little kind of extra long pieces, and both the map and the pieces themselves look really nice, and it's very striking to look at on the table, which I think for a lot of people the eye candy of a game can be a big draw to it, just to get people to look and ask those questions of, hey, what is this? This is interesting. I think it's a big appeal to lots of other players. So what went into all of this, and do we have an artist?
This is a new artist. Alex Tattered, I believe is the pronunciation of his last name. He did this terrific cover. He did
it looks great.
The map. He did the pieces. I gave him some guidance as how we wanted. We started with the Rick Barber presentation, and then he kind of riffed off of that. I asked him to do the counters a certain way. He absolutely nailed it. As far as there's figures on here with flags. The battle-worn side has fewer figures and some tattered flags.
Yep. There you go. Yep.
Yeah. And this series has always been about trying to present that miniatures immersion and look in the simplicity and obviously less cost of a board game, and no paintings involved. So I think Alex nailed it as far as presentation, and the production's fantastic. Typical nice Blue Panther production.
Yeah, the map just looks great.
Well, and
really
I don't know
does.
how he does it, but I'm looking at I presume woods.
Yep.
They look like they're done with a watercolor paint.
Yep.
Like it's
Yeah.
still, it's a, like you said, the riff on the Rick Barber where it's that hand drawn. This is almost like a hand painted at times, which it's really neat to see.
It is. The details on here are amazing. The orchards look so cool. The fields look nice. The fencing looks like fencing would look. I'm very impressed with it. I'm really happy to
Well, and I
have
thought
it done for the
the
game.
contour lines are really nice too. I mean,
Yes.
the ridges and the rises. It's very
Right.
cool.
And they're all
That is
formed-
kind of how Rick used to do them, right? He'd
Right.
draw the little line showing.
The difference is Alex had to actually form them around the spaces so that there was
Okay.
no iffy, like, oh, which
Which are
elevation
you
is this one
on?
on?
Yeah.
It's so that it's really a very playable and beautiful map at the same time.
So, how long does a game of this particular one, Into the Whirlpool, take to play?
I have no idea. We're very early in the development process. Obviously, it's based on an existing design, so you have to figure that there's going to be a number of scenarios. So the short scenario is going to take not even an hour.
Okay.
Right. That'll be the introductory tutorial one. If you wanted to do the full, 3 hours of the battle, which involved over 20 brigades in this little area. So there's a whole division of Caldwell that comes in. There's a whole division of Kershaw that comes in. Just sweeping back and forth. I would say that would probably take you 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I'm intentionally keeping the system pretty basic, so you can, there's no rules angst. It's the combat system is based on percentage dice, so all you're doing is getting a percentage to hit, and then rolling those percentage and finding if you hit or not, or
So
if you
you're-
pass a morale check or not.
You're rolling 10-siders then?
Right, 2 10-siders,
Okay.
different colors, and the whole system's based on that.
Nice.
If you double the score, then you get a very nice, result.
Bonus,
If you
yeah.
have it, it's a bad result. That kind of stuff.
Okay.
So I did try to keep it playable, and to have a tactical level ACW game that's also playable is the main goal, and one that looks nice. So
Well, I know you've done a lot of different tactical games, but they're mainly your Dawn of the Zed style,
yes.
Plum Island horror. Most of your games seem operational so is this different for you? I
me-
don't feel like you have a ton of these kind of tactical games.
This is the only historically tactical game I've done.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was not wrong.
You are not wrong.
Okay, good.
A zombie is tactical. Yes.
Yeah, right. So how is that different? And I know this was a miniatures rule set originally 10 years ago. How is that different from, say, A Most Fearful Sacrifice or Rock of Chickamauga? Or
Oh boy, yeah.
does it make the process that much different, or is it really all kind of the same thing, just a matter of scale? And
It is. The dynamics are just different. Here you're worried about. Each of these stands is 110 guys, so it's a much more detailed process of what can these guys do, what can they not do, where are they on the battlefield. Whereas an operational game, it's a little bit more generalized as far as effects and all that. But as far as design work, I don't find
like
it
it's
that
different.
much different, really.
okay,
I try. So, I guess to answer your question, I tried not to get too tactical, right? So, I didn't want it to become this, 6-hour burdensome game to play where this bullet went this way and this bounce through goes through these, So I did try to ease off on the really gory detail and make it more playable.
And this is volume 1 in that Tattered Flag series. Obviously, we got to get this out, but is the plan to expand that if it's successful?
That if it's successful, the plan is to do that because I was just speaking to a couple of guys before, and came up with about a dozen different.
oh yeah,
Because you could focus in on any of the major battles. You can focus in on a particularly dramatic event that occurred. Antietam in the cornfield.
well, you could do Pickett's Charge here at
The
Gettysburg.
Hornet's Nest.
Yeah.
You could do a
The
million
Angle,
things.
any of that stuff.
You're right. Culp's Hill, I was thinking would be great for this, and there's not that many Culp's Hill games. The plan is if people like the system and like the presentation, we're going to just go with it,
Okay.
and see where it takes us.
How does it use cards? I wanted to ask.
So, yes, these are battle cards.
Very nice cards, by the way. They're
Right.
linen finish and
Yep.
got that great art on the backs.
So people who've played Blind Swords or Black Swan will recognize some of these things. Fog of War, one of the 3 Fs.
Is it 3 or 4? I can't remember.
And,
I told you I'm going to make up a 4th F just so I'm
I think
not
we
an
should
idiot.
come up with a 4th F, definitely. And you'll start the game with a couple of these. You will earn 1 at the end of every turn, and you will earn 1 every time you roll doubles. So it's
Okay.
rolling percentage dice.
Wasn't that the way Most Fearful Sacrifice was? When you rolled doubles, you got something? Or maybe I'm thinking of a different game. Anyway.
Doubles was the combat event.
Okay, that's what it
yeah.
was. See, I'm not totally
no,
off.
no, you're totally off, right. And these are just simple things that you're going to hold, and these will do all the oddball things that happen in Civil War battles, like regimental or initiative, where the regiment can maybe ignore the order of the brigade and try to do something on its own, that you might want to play that. command confusion, you'd play on the opponent. What the game does is you have to assign an order to each of the brigades. If a unit gets out of command, it keeps its original order if the brigade changes, so it can operate on a different order. Now, that's either a disadvantage sometimes, or sometimes you can plan it that way, where your brigadier gives a defend order to a regiment, they move away, and it stays on its defend while you maybe go attack. So if you can pull that off, that's fantastic. But there's many cards in here that will mess that up, because there is an order called indecisive, where you're not the brigadier's not sure what's going on, and that will affect his ability to perform.
That's one thing I like about your games is the chaos and fun of you just never quite know what's going to happen.
It's
next.
never a sure thing.
Yeah.
Right, and as I told you yesterday when we were talking, a wonderful accident of all this is that the chaos is, especially in this kind of era of warfare, is not only more fun, makes the game more fun, but it's actually more realistic as far as what the flow of events is going to be, and what your decisions are going to be, because you can't move these units around like chess pieces. They're going to have their own mind many times.
So this is in the works still. We'll see this eventually.
Maybe this year?
Summer?
We look up
July? Okay, I've been told July.
That's
so
a very short deadline.
We're being told July.
Anything else that we're working on currently?
Oh, I'm working on a lot of stuff, as many people know. Rocket
Aren't you
Chicken-
retired?
Yes, I
You
am.
were
And I'm
retired.
working more now than I
Okay,
did
that's
when I
what I
worked.
thought.
Yeah. So Rocket Chickamauga is still coming along. Don't worry. I know it's behind schedule, but it's been a lot of work. The scenarios to design those and balance them. Thank God for Claude Whalen, because he is an absolute machine at playtesting.
What was interesting, you were talking. I think it was yesterday or either this morning. You were talking about the difficulties of the Chickamauga battlefield. Is that all the action's in the middle, right? And,
Yes.
And you've got all these maps, these big maps that there's not much on the fringe or the periphery. So,
Right.
how do you make this scenario that really spills over into the northern part of the battlefield work? Right? How did you guys decide to do that?
Okay, so a lot of the complaints about a Most Fearful Sacrifice is that the two maps
Huge
just
board.
take up too much room and all that. Luckily, the way Gettysburg broke down, a lot of those scenarios could be played on one of the
One map,
maps.
yep.
Okay. Unfortunately, with Chickamauga, a lot of that action is smack in the middle of the border between the north and the south map. So I was left with, oh my goodness, almost every scenario is going to need two maps.
Yeah.
Right, just to get them both on there. So we talked about it a little bit, and I came up with a solution, which was basically to carve out the middle of the map as a separate map, and it would be placed on the back of one of the boards. So for all those scenarios, you would just need the one
Flip it
flip over, and you just use that middle board, I guess you would call
Got it.
Yeah,
So almost like an inset,
exactly.
just on the back.
Right, exactly.
That's cool. That'll be neat. And I like those big boards. I like them both because I can protect my home with them, plug a hole in the wall, and
That's
also
right.
play ACW war games on.
It's true. It is
But
multi-purpose.
Sometimes they're too big and a little unwieldy, and not everybody has a huge table.
Right. Yeah. No, we admit it, but we decided when we did that game, we were going to go big.
Nice.
Go big or go home.
Yeah.
Right? Just do it. You're going to do it all the way.
Yeah.
What else am I working on? Oh my goodness. Well, later this summer, we're working on Revenge of the Zeds. There it is up there. So that is a reimagining of the Zeds universe. It will not have 5 rule books.
It won't?
No. It will have a co-op version hardwired in right from the beginning.
Okay.
So it'll be a solo game as Zeds has always been, but it also will have a cooperative multiplayer system built right into it. And I'm going to change the combat system since the original one's a little bit war-gamey with the chart and all that, so we're going to try to use custom dice.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know Blue Panther has some cool custom dice.
Do
Some
they
of-
really?
Yeah. Some of their games have really cool custom dice.
And lots of them, too,
And
I
lots
heard.
of, so are you getting only 1 or 2, or are you
That's
gonna
all.
get-
I've been relegated to 5, I believe.
just
I know,
5.
just 5. I haven't quite been with the company long enough to earn
Okay.
the 27 dice.
I feel like the Revolutionary War game had like 25.
That's true. But hey, look, I
You
gotta
get- you
gotta
take
pay
what
my
you get,
dues.
right.
I pay my dues,
Okay.
and hopefully I will reach the 25 custom dice level.
They're also working on the zoning, small zoning extension. Remember?
And There is the struggle for Zorn, and we're going to have a small expansion coming out for this that will has some short scenarios, some reworking of some mechanics and all that.
Okay.
So you have more options with this game. And this is a fantasy war game.
Yep.
Produced by Blue Panther.
It's a very cool looking game. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to design. We just went nuts with this thing with all the different effects. Letting me get hold of a fantasy game is probably a mistake.
Dangerous.
I can do whatever I want.
That's right.
We're not bound by history.
That's right. Other than that, boy, oh boy.
Other than that,
Von Moltke's Triumph.
Okay, and there's an old White Dog game, right? Yes, it was an old White Dog game called Von Moltke's Triumph.
Designed originally by
Amabel Holland.
Yep.
And she's turned over the rights to Steve and to redo it, and they asked me to develop it, and maybe
Okay.
to alter some stuff, maybe tweak some things, maybe add something, since that is my my favorite period of history.
Yeah, I don't know why they would choose you for that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's another one that Steve's given to me to do.
Okay.
As I,
Custom dice in that one.
and we can have custom dice.
But just 5.
But
maybe we can get 6.
Maybe 6. Anyway.
What if I just
Custom dice are really. We love custom
It's just
dice.
fun.
They're just fun.
It is. It does shortcut a lot of
Yeah.
the math and all that other
Yeah.
nonsense.
Now, I don't get me wrong. I love a CRT, and I love that stuff too. But sometimes custom dice are just fun.
You just
You
chuck
roll
'em,
and
look
you-
at the pictures.
Bam!
Right, exactly.
I hit, or I got a critical hit, or I just roll blanks.
Yep. Boy, oh boy, what else? Miracle at Dunkirk is supposed to come out this year.
Really?
Supposedly.
That
It's
one's
all-
been in
it's all
design.
done.
You figured since like 2010,
It was like it's been 8 years, I think,
Okay.
since it's been out there.
2016. We've been trying to follow that one since the day it was
2016.
put up on
Me too.
CPO. So Dunkirk's obviously you did Steamroller, and you've done a couple World War One, World
Yeah,
War
I did
II.
Race to the Sea, Steamroller. Yes, World War One. I would love
Yeah.
to do more. I'd love to do a Verdun game.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I realize Dunkirk's not World War One, but
No, but I know
I
what
was
you're
just
saying.
thinking of all your different games that you've done.
I
in
tried
that-
to do a lot of different periods if I can.
Yeah, yeah.
I like the versatility of design work.
What is your favorite to do?
Oh, definitely Franco-Prussian. Well, that
Yeah,
that
Franco-Prussian,
era,
yep.
that European era.
At
of
any
that.
cost. Pretty good game.
Extremely good
From
game.
GMT.
Possibly becoming reprinted.
From Blue Panther?
Oh, GMT.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
It had better be, because that game is worth it.
It's very good.
It looks great and it plays really well, and it's just fun.
It's doing okay on P500. I think it's at 185 or something, 190.
Okay.
Get on it.
All I got from that one was a face full of canister.
I do love that story you tell all the time.
It's
And then, yeah.
Yeah.
Cavalry doing their own thing because they were out of command, and just
and
great,
just
great fun.
walking through that forest, up that creek,
And then just getting
getting
obliterated.
slaughtered. It's fascinating to play in an age where some of the tactics were Napoleonic, but the weapons were World War One almost. And
I
it's
do like
just
the
brutal.
command rules that I got in that game. I have to use those again somewhere else.
Well, and I've often said it. I even mentioned it yesterday. One of my favorite games that you do is Attack of the 50-Foot Colossi.
Yes.
As silly as that concept is, it's a great game. It's a
you.
fantastic game.
I appreciate it.
I love it.
I
But Tiny Battle Publishing, and it's a little baggy game, and
Right.
has 2 different full games in it, so they're different.
Yep.
It's just fun. Just fun.
And boy, what else?
Well, we only have
Ryan
40
and I
minutes.
are doing a game called Alpha Zeds for Trick or Treat Studios.
Okay.
That will be a zombie version of In Magnificent Style, if you can imagine that.
Oh, I can imagine it now that you've said it.
Yep. And
What's the timeline on that one?
that's end of summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in time for Halloween.
Well, I think that's their general idea.
Yeah,
Yes.
got it. Trick or treat gaming. I mean,
Yeah.
You'll be able to get at your Spirit Halloween.
yeah.
Well, that's all I can think of at the moment. I know I'm going to
Okay.
forget something, but it's been a lot, I have to say.
Yeah, yeah.
But thank you all for your support. Do I have anything? Did I miss anything?
PLE and Conograts, they will be series games.
Okay. Yes. So Vive l'Emperor, which is up for a couple of CSR.
Also a very good game.
Thank you.
Very good game. My review is out, and I had a blast with it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That was a fun game to design as well. So it's done well enough that we're going to do another one, probably on the Battle of Borodino. I think would be a good
Love
match for
that.
that. I will have to start working on that fairly soon. And what else is By Blood and Iron, I guess, right? Yeah.
Okay.
So we have the By Blood and Iron. That's been well received, and I would love to do maybe the Battle of Solferino with that one, or something in that era.
Inkerman might be an
Inkerman is a
interesting
good
one. Yeah.
Yeah. So lots of possibilities.
Okay.
I like designing new series. That's my shtick.
You're very good at it.
Thank you.
You do a lot of them, so
Thank
that's
you.
good.
Except I get bored of them very quickly, and then I want to move on to something else. So I guess that's a downside.
Got it.
But yeah, it's been great. And like I said, thank you everybody for your support. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
You guys have been really terrific with your reviews and overviews.
Well, thanks for sitting down with us. Thanks for walking us through some of this. I'm excited to see this in action and to play it, and see it to come to fruition here at the end of July. But appreciate you very much for sitting down with us.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm Alexander for theplayersaid.com.
And I'm Grant.